Hi everybody, it's just Francine here, and today we're going to be working with some flax. So I've got some ideas here that I'll share with you. So anyway, I'll just wait for a few people to come on, and nice to see you this morning. So today we're just going to use some flax. Its botanical name is called phormium. And it's rather gorgeous. So there's so many uses we use this for, but I'm going to give you other alternatives. Good morning, nice to see you, Helen. So I'm going to give you some of the other alternatives if you haven't got flax, because you can use, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be shredding it, and but you can use grasses, you can use all sorts of different things, and I'll show you other options. Good morning, Mary, lovely to see you too, and Chris. So what I'm going to start with first is I've got some things here that we need to start with. I've got a this is a Kenzan or a pin holder. We're going to need one of those to be able to do our shredding with. We're also going to need some aluminium wire. This is the 2mm aluminium wire. Good morning, everybody. Now, if you haven't got aluminium wire, I was actually going to show you it, but I've actually used it for tying plants and trees up and securing them to stakes in the garden, and it's got rubber on the end, but there's a wire running through it. That's really good to do this with as well. And you can even use metal coat hangers. You know, the old coat hangers, if you've got a few of those around. So if you haven't got everything, don't worry about it, you can always substitute, and that's the whole idea of doing our flowers today. Now, another thing we're going to be using is this is called bullion wire. It's a serrated wire, comes on a spool. And again, if you haven't got this, because we're in lockdown, you can use cotton and other fine threads as well to be able to do this. So we can go with that as well. Now, I've also got a few other little bits and pieces, and I'll talk about those as we're going through them. So what I've got here is the Kenzan. I'm going to put that on the table, and it's always a really good idea to find where you put your towel. So I've got my towel here, and I'm going to get the phormium, and I'm just going to lay it on top of the Kenzan, hold it really tight, put the towel on the top, and then you just pull it through so that it shreds it. Now, this is a really good way of doing this, and I prefer to put the towel on the top, because if you put your hand on the spikes, you know, it gets a bit messy. So paste it, just put something on the top, and then I'm going to shred the other end as well. So with these workshops that we're going to be doing, we're doing things that if you haven't got the products or the things that I'm using, I'll give you substitutes so that you can just have a go. So now we've got that all shredded. I love using shredded flax. Look at that, it's just lovely cascading. But again, that same look you can achieve by just going and picking a handful of grass out of the garden. So, especially if you haven't mowed. Then I'm going to get my aluminium wire, and I'm just going to lay that inside here and wrap the flax around it, and I'm going to cut it to length. Put the wire there to the side. I'm going to cut it to length, and then I'm just going to wrap it around that wire. So if you're using the tying twine, you know, and it's got the rubber with the wire in the middle, same things apply, just wrap it around that. Then if you haven't got the bullion, use your cotton. You can even use, whatever you've got, really, even jute strings, all sorts of things. It's really just to bind it and hold it on there. So I'm just going to bind that, and I'm going to wrap it around, go around a couple of times at the base, at the end where you cut the phormium or the flax or the grass or whatever you're using. Another thing we can use is you can use raffia. You can use, what else have I got? Medalino sticks, just anything. Just find, see what you've got. So now we're just going to wrap it around. And as you're wrapping it, pulling the wire or your string or whatever you've got quite firmly when you're doing it. And I'm going about, half a centimetre gap, and then just binding it and then moving my hand down. Wrapping the flax around it, the phormium around it. And then keep binding all the way. Now, by pulling it tight, it's going to hold it firm. Keep sliding it down, holding it firm. Now, when you start getting and your arm's starting to get a bit hard, just curl that in, and it'll keep out of the way while you do the rest of the binding. So I hope you're all going good out there. Lots of things happening around here in the garden at the moment, so we're doing lots of pruning and things like that, which is really good. Lovely seeing all the spring flowers coming through. And keep just rolling this end around while you're working, and then it won't get in the way, and just keep binding, rolling that around, keep binding. And the beauty about these is don't think, oh, well, what happens when it goes brown? They're no good. Yes, they are. They look gorgeous when they have gone to the, when they've dried. And you can reuse them over and over again and make many different structures with them, which is a really good way to do it. I like things that we can use more than once, you know. So keep going around and around, curling this one in so it's out of the way. And you'll see that we've put online with the Floral Art Society a little competition for the children at home that are in lockdown. I thought about that actually because my granddaughters are at home, and I thought what a neat idea to be able to get people into flowers. And I've got the different ages there. And you know, as you're coming up this end, this is a little bit tricky to make sure you've got your flax around the end. Covering the wires, creep your hand up and then go around a few times at the end like that, just over itself, and that'll hold it into place. Just like that. Now we've got a nice little wiggly bit of rhythm. Look at that, and you can alter it, you can make circles, you can do all sorts of things. So these are really handy to have pre-made. So good morning to you. Lovely to see you, Joe, down south, and all those that are watching. Now what I've got here is, oh look, through the magic I've made a whole lot. So I've got a whole lot of those pre-made. So now what are we going to do with it? Well, I've got here just a dish off my pot plant. I thought, well, if you haven't got many containers at home, just have a look and see what you can find. So a nice heavy dish that works really, really well. I'm going to use that on my turntable. If you haven't got a Kenzan to strip, another thing you can do is get a piece of wood just quite simply and just nail really fine nails through, grouping them together so they're quite tightly packed. And then that can actually just be used in the meantime. So it's quite good to be able to make your own Kenzan. Now what I've got here is I've got my dish. I've got, these are called frogs. So these are our little plastic pin holders. If you haven't got that, you can use your Kenzan, but I'm going to use the little frogs. Then this here's called Oasis Fix. It's like a blue tacky, it's like blue tack, but it's a bit stickier. It's what we use in floral art. It's waterproof. And I'm going to cut a little wedge. Going to put it on the bottom of the Kenzan, pull the little tab off. I'm going to line up where I want my foam to go, so I'm going to put this here. I probably want it in the corner. I'm going to have it coming in asymmetrical balance. Asymmetrical means it's off balance, it's away from the centre, so the weight is carried by the length to give it visual balance. So we call it asymmetrical balance. So I put another little tab on there. Try not to touch the Oasis Fix. People tend to roll it in their fingers and they forget that the oil from your fingers will go onto the dash and it won't stick as well. Work out where that's going. So I've got my two little frogs there like that. I've pre-soaked some foam. Now this is the black Noir foam, and I'm just going to pop that over onto the frogs like so. So that's going to hold it into place. So if you haven't got a dish, you can use a plate. Just use whatever you've got. It's about just having fun at the moment with our flowers and whatever you can find to make it work. So then I thought, okay, what have I got next? So I went down the garden and I've picked some Fats Hedera. Everyone that knows me knows I love my Fats Hedera. The Fats Hedera is a cross between ivy and Aurelia. So, or the Fatsia japonica and Hedera helix is its botanical name, but we don't want to get too technical. Now I've got my 22 gauge wire, and I'm going to come a third of the way up the back of the leaf here, put the wire through, hold at the neck, slide my hand down and go right around itself, so it's really going to hold that. And why I'm wiring these is I've got a bit more control, but if you haven't got any wire, just pop them straight in, but I like to be able to control them. So I'm going to put one in there like that so it comes back. This one possibly won't need wiring because it's going to face the way I want it to. This one will be the same. Put that one in through there, coming down over the side. And I'll lift this up so that you can see. This one will need wiring. It's got a mind of its own, this one. So again, a third of the way up the back of the leaf. Slide the wire through and you're holding it from underneath and on the top. Bring it to the neck, slide your hand down to the base of the leaf, and then you go right around there, and then you end up with a really nice wire. I cut them on an angle. It makes them spike in a lot easier. And then I can line that up and pop that in, and then I can fold the wire down, and that's actually going to hold it into place. Do another one up here, and then I'm going to do one coming back. Something a bit smaller. I think this one will wire as well. going around, take it down and put it back. So now we've got our little grouping of leaves here, which is now going to give a nice rest area and also covers the foam for our plant material to go in. Now this is the fun bit. So I'm going to make some rhythm with these. So the idea is to bring them back as well as forward. So I'm just going to line this up, take it over the container, pop that in there, into the floral foam, make sure it goes in, and then, you know, you could have a bit of fun with them if you really want to. I'm just going to cut that so it's squared up a little bit better. Oh, got the wrong snippers, but that's okay. Put this one in, again, fold it down, giving it a bit of rhythm. Bring another one further back. I just need to cut that. Just a bit feathery and it won't go in. Come back a bit. Tuck it in. You can go actually in through the leaf if you want to. Might make a little hole in the leaf so it'll go in. That's better. Put that in. So you need to bring these back so that it takes your eye, it's encompassing the whole design. Whereas if you just put them in from this bit here, you'll find that the design will be cut in half. So we want to take our eye back so it comes over the whole design. So take another one in through here. Again, just cut that feathery bit off to the wire. Bringing it down and through. Just bring that over a little bit. Make sure you can see what I'm doing. People were wanting to be able to look down onto what I'm doing, so rather than seeing it from a distance. So I'm changing the camera a little bit today. Now I'm going to come in from the side. Put one in down and from the side there. Again, lifting it up, giving it rhythm. And then you can start to link them together, and this will help to support them. Just link them together and twist them into each other, and you can wire them in if you want. So that's where we're at so far. Doesn't that look magic? So you can do this on any container that you've got. Save these when they've dried because you can do all kinds of things with them. Now, Madhu Shah from Australia, she's with the Australian Floral Art Society. And I'm actually going to be doing a big demo for them in November. She asked me to advertise it because people have been asking. So if you want to know more about it, just go onto the website. I'll actually put the link on my Facebook page so that you can have a look at it, so that you can go on. And it's being done through Zoom, so that you have to register to go and see what's going on. So now I'm going to just turn that one around, bring this one in through here. So it's really playing with rhythm and contrast and creating pattern. And you can see why we needed those smooth leaves back. It just gives it a little bit of a rest area for all the rhythm that we're creating with these wonderful placements of using the shredded flax. So that's where we're at so far. But you can lift these up, you can do all kinds of things with them. You can go up vertical if you want to go. You don't have to go horizontal, but I feel like going horizontal today. So I'm going to do it that way. So turn that around, link that up. Now what are we going to do? Well, I again had a wander around the garden. So there's lots of options. So if you haven't got this plant material, you can do all kinds of things. So if you haven't got any flowers, but you've got plenty of flax, have a go at making some flax flowers, and you can do those and actually use those in there. But I've got some elfin, and somebody messaged me yesterday and asked about the elfin. Ashley's just opening up the garage door. Asked me about elfins and the arum lily. The elfins are a small version of the arum, but they're not as invasive. And the way I keep them small is I lift them every year, split them up, and then I end up with these lovely little elfin lilies, which are really magic to use. But I liked the rhythm, and I used these the other day, but they're going to give me lovely rhythm through the design. So I'm just looking for scale. I don't want them too big out this end. So now another thing with these is they don't like foam. So I mentioned the other day about using kebab sticks or toothpicks and popping that into the stem. And the reason I use these is to secure into the foam, but also they act like a capillary. They take the moisture up through that, through the bamboo stick, through the stick. And then pop that one in there. I want that one to come down through the end there, laying it on there. Now if you want to tuck it in, you can actually tuck it in and use your wire as part of your mechanics to hold your plant material. Lift that up just a little bit. I might lift that over, just have a bit of a play with it. Now I'm going to scale this one. I'm going to bring another one back in through here, again using the kebab stick. Pop that one in through here. Go and get that one in there. Taking it down, tucking it in. So I think today we're meant to be working on the other glass house today. Ashley's got a glass house too. I said my one's my one for my plants, for my orchids, but he's going to do one for vegetables. So now I'm going to see as we're stepping those back into the design. Now I'm watching the way that these are all moving too. I want my eye to come over and follow through. I don't want you to go back because that's going to, the point's going to take my eye away from the design. I want you to follow that line. So I'm going to cut these again. Another stick in here. Put this one in, tuck it in, nice and low. Taking it down. But see how they're all following its way through. I'll put another one right at the back here. Put those out of the way. Need to bring this one just in through here. I talk a lot to myself. So we haven't just got a friend here, we've got a whole family. Look at that, moving their way through. So it's coming through, the lovely rhythm that it's been created in through there. I've got another little one here. Will I use that one? Sometimes less is more. I think that's enough. That'll do. Now, I thought, what else have I got? Well, I like to use lemons. Or if you haven't got lemons, I have got some green succulents that we could use in there. Another thing I've got to keep that is lovely yellow-green going through. I've got these lovely little leucadendrons that we could use. So I might put some of those in here just for that little bit of contrast as well. Just tucking them in. Now the idea is not to overcrowd this, not to pack it full because we want to have the space that's been created. If you put it too much in there and overpack it, you just lose sight of the rhythm and the space that's this rhythm is meant to be created with taking the line over from using the Flax formium. I'm just going to put just a couple of these in here. Tuck another one down and through here. Just take my eye back a bit. Do I want that? No. Cut it down a bit shorter. Again, talking to myself. Don't be afraid. I think my ash gets a bit afraid sometimes. I put another one in through here. I think actually that might be, oh no, I might be able to put another one in there. Put that one in there. So taking that one up. You can see the way that that's being laid on there. So these look really gorgeous when you do, if you're doing an entertainment table, having one going one way, do another one, a mirror image going the other way, and then in the centre just have a bowl, a round posy of flowers. Looks magic. Now as far as the lemons go, what I'm going to do is cut these in half. Now I normally seal them with my glitter spray, but I think that's in my cupboard right here. I'm not sure if the can will work, so we'll just see if it will. It works. And I'm going to use some citrus. I love to use citrus fruit. I made some lemon shortcake the other day, and I've made lemon marmalade, and I think I've just about used all the lemons up. So now to stop them drying out, what I do is I use this Design Master glitter spray, a clear coat sealer, and I spray the whole thing. Now if you haven't got the glitter spray, you can use clear nail polish that has the glitter in it, and that's a really good way of sealing the whole fruit. It also stops this gas we have called ethylene. You can't smell ethylene, but ethylene puts the flowers off, makes them go off. So fruit tends to release the ethylene. So what I'm going to do is just put a couple of these in here. Put one in underneath there. Put another one in. What are you up to in there, Ashley? I can hear you. Getting ready to build his house. And then I'm just going to get another one up the top here. Now I'm going to layer it. Now the idea is to layer your eye back in. See how that steps in? Whereas if we're not careful, we tend to put them like they're looking like little satellite dishes. We don't want that. Now I'm just going to turn that around. I want to have a little look at it around this way. Yep, I'm happy with the way that's going. Lift that up off the table. And I'll do the same. So now I'm going to bring my eye through. So I'm going to do another double placement on this side, and this will give it unity. I'll do another couple here. And I always put 2 sticks in. This stops it spinning or turning. Oop, another one in through there. A bit more spray. Put one in through this side. Cut those a little bit shorter. So again, if you haven't got flowers, have a go at doing this with flax flowers, with the formium flowers that you can make. I did that a long time ago. I did a little video on how to make them. So it's a really good way of doing. If you haven't got things, don't panic. You can always substitute. And I love it when you send me photos. Hi Lisa, how are you? And I think it's Aru, I think. And Jackie, nice to see you, Jackie. Ryan too. So another little bit of spray on there. Cut those a little bit shorter. Stepping my eye back into the design. That one in through there. And now we've ended up with a really pretty design, just using whatever I've got in the garden, taking my eye through. And that's how you can end up with a lovely design. Now, if you want to, you can bake this going vertical. You can go the horizontal, and like I say, maybe do a mirror image and have another one going this way with just a bowl of flowers in the middle. So I hope you have a magic day, everybody. Have a go at doing this. See what you can find. Have fun. Take care out there. And I'll be posting some more videos up soon. Bye for now. Have a great day.